While the world was at pause, Clark was at work. Clark is now the country's leading special economic zone. It has its own international airport. From Clark, you're directly connected to other Asian destinations in 1 to 4 hours. Connected also means digital connectivity. Clark has a one-stop government shop to cut red tape and grant you all the incentives of an economic zone. That's why Clark is the choice of many global enterprises, big and small. The workforce comes from the country's huge pool of young, talented, and trained graduates. You can escape to many leisure spots. Start by teeing off from 5 golf courses already at Clark. Business, leisure, nature. They all work at Clark. It works like a dream.
One business takes on many challenges. But when they're beyond what one can solve, it'll take more. Each one pitching in to form seamlessly linked solutions. And with a partner to innovate and collaborate, we can create better experiences than we ever could alone, to become more valued than we'd ever be on our own. Because there's nothing greater than working as one to make an impact in people's lives. Redefine our greatness. Globe Business.
Okay. So in case of fire, please don't panic. AIM is a fire safety code compliant. We also have fire detection and alarm systems in place. And we also have trained firefighting teams ready to respond in case of fire emergencies. During evacuation, please do not use the lift or the elevator. Use these stairs and close the door to isolate fire if we are the last person to leave the room. Then proceed to our evacuation area. In case of earthquake, again, don't panic. Based on the last structural integrity test of our building, this structure can withstand an approximate intensity 7 earthquake. So this building will hold, or at least it will give us enough time to evacuate the building safely. Now, in case of earthquake, execute drop, cover, and hold. Okay, so drop under sturdy desk or table like that one, cover yourself, and hold on to it. Be alert. Keep your eyes open and watch out for falling objects. Once the shaking stops, exit and follow your evacuation plan. So this is our evacuation plan. So this is the avoidance tech space, 3rd floor. So from here, we have 3 exit points, but we will be using the 2 exits nearest to this roof, so the left and right. Now, just follow this direction until you reach the ground floor. Now, if you're coming out from this side of the building, your designated evacuation area will be in front of the main building. But if you're coming out from the other side of the building, your evacuation area should be at the parking area near the Gamboa Street. Okay? So once we are out of the building, please do not go back. Wait for our instruction if it is safe to return or not. If you are hurt or injured, or know someone who is in need of medical attention, please inform us. There will be a medical team at the evacuation area ready to respond and to assist you. If you have other concerns, you may approach any of the security personnel on the ground and we will help you. So thank you so much. Magandang umaga po. Magandang hapon.
Thank you, Ray. And now may I please request everyone to stand up for the Philippine National Anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, elas na sinangalan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ng pagaw, ay hinagang tulang awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magtitigil. Luman ang araw ng warhabing pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya ng pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Thank you. Kindly take your seats as we begin our lab. And now may I direct your attention to the screen for some few reminders, particularly for our Aboitiz Tech Space guests. We'd like to remind you that we have sensitive ceiling or hanging mics, so please maintain your silence while the session is ongoing. Okay, again, thank you for joining our 7th lab for the year. And now may I call on the chairman of the Liveable Cities, Mr. Guillermo Bill Luz, to formally start our program.
Thank you, Patrick, and I hope everyone can hear me clearly. Thank you. Well, first of all, welcome to Liveable Cities Lab. I notice a few of you are regulars, so thank you for coming out again to attend Liveable Cities Lab. For those of you here for the first time, we run these labs 7 or 8 times a year, covering various topics. And this is our 7th lab for the year. And we've also embarked on local labs, which is a special feature on a particular city or province where we broadcast from that city and allow that city to talk about what their plans and policies and projects are for that city. But for today's lab, we're focused on one of our major themes. No? And the theme for all of this year has really been on creating intelligent cities. And of course, as our name suggests, we're really looking at livable cities. And by cities, I mean to use it loosely. We really refer to livable local communities, including, of course, municipalities. And our definition of livability has always been cities or municipalities which are competitive, sustainable, and resilient. And intelligent cities goes now into that mix. So we take a look at the cities. We look at local communities, LGUs, local competitiveness, as the building block of national competitiveness. Many times we hear, people say, is the Philippines competitive or not on a global scale? We won't be unless our cities are. We cannot always build from the top, but we need to build from a base and from a foundation. So that's why we focus on cities, and we invite mayors and city administrators and private sector and national government people to speak about cities and how to make them more competitive. So what is exactly that we are competing for? So just remember this, as a country, we are competing for a number of things. First thing we're competing for are investments, okay? So as a country, we want to attract investments, and as a city, we'd want to attract those investments as well. And just think of the competition, not your city versus another city, but the Philippines versus another country. And so to be practical, take a look at the Philippines versus ASEAN. And in investments, we lag behind actually in terms of attracting investments versus ASEAN. We're also working for trade. Okay, so trade in goods, manufactured goods, agricultural products. So we're working in competing in the export market. So as countries do, cities do as well. We're also competing for jobs. So in this case, service jobs. It's also a form of exports. And for the Philippines, we're a leader in this particular category if we're looking at BPOs. And for some cities, they are leaders in this particular segment of business, the IT BPO sector. We're also competing for tourists, and some cities get more than others. We have Mayor Benji Magalong here today, and I know Baguio gets a lot of tourists every long weekend, every festival, every summer, every holiday period. Baguio is crowded and has a lot of tourists. Not every city is that way, but actually we are competing with places like Bali and Bangkok, Singapore, KL, Penang, Jakarta, Yogyakarta. We are competing for tourists. So that's something that we need to keep in mind. And finally, we are competing for people. We're competing for our own people. If we don't provide a competitive environment to create jobs in our cities, then our people will leave. And of course, now we have plenty of people who leave. That's our OFWs. So why do we need livable cities and intelligent cities? One is just take a look at it this way. Cities are primary drivers of economic growth and innovation. So think of it as a city as the hub. It concentrates consumption, resource use, waste, anything good or bad, they are accumulated in a city, at the city level. So that makes a city a generator of wealth, production, creativity, and development. So when you look at it, view your city as an economic engine of whatever island or province it's in. Your city is an economic engine. The more economic engines we have that are running well and strong, then the more competitive country we will have. And when you boil it down, when people say they want to think of a place to live, work, invest, or visit, or study, or whatever, they're actually thinking of a city. They don't think of an entire country. When they say they're going to a country, they're really going to a specific city or set of cities. So when someone says, I'm going to Japan, they're not going to see all of Japan. They're going to see Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, maybe. If they're going to England, maybe they really mean London. They're not meaning all of England. So when they think of the Philippines, they must be thinking of a specific city that they want to visit. Or if it's a province, they're going to be still thinking of a specific city. So which is why we want to have cities which are going to be livable and competitive. So what are the benefits? Well, there are benefits for the city and there are benefits for the country. And let me just delve on a few of them. One of them would be diversification of investment and job opportunities. We'd spread them out. Second, creation of new wealth. Third, we would grow a middle class in different parts of the country. We would make the country overall more attractive as an investment site. So rather than put all investments in just one or two cities, then we have potentially a lot more targets where investors could go. So in a way, this is a strategy for inclusive growth. So there are challenges, of course, for all cities. Resilience is one of them. We just had an earthquake, or earthquakes actually, off Mindanao, the east coast of Mindanao. large magnitude. Fortunately, not too much damage. We're also faced with a mobility challenge. These are, of course, if you are in a big city or a high density population city, we have mobility challenges, traffic. All cities, I think, for the Philippines have a GovTech challenge. Those of you who have to file papers, I'm sure you're used to filing all their papers manually. Gradually, more cities are moving to online filing, but we need to have more, I think, of this for cities. Well, we have an education challenge that's not for cities only, but actually nationally. We rank poorly around the world, but COVID showed what type of a challenge we had because we had to deliver education online. And even now, as we go back to face-to-face or hybrid education, these are still challenges. And not, of course, not everyone can afford a classroom, a case room, just like this one, where we have screens, sound system, and motion capture cameras and all this built into the system. This is an expensive setup. Not all public schools could have it. Public health challenge, of course, we saw this happen during COVID, and I know that Mayor Benji was a very active player, not only for contact tracing, but the way they managed and controlled COVID in Baguio City. So we've had a lot of meetings this year, and the labs. I'll just run through a set of pictures. But the whole theme has been intelligent cities this year, working with mayors. Here you have Mayor Albi Benitez of Bacolod, Mayor Abby Binay is there for Makati. We had here's Mayor Albi. Mayor Joy was a speaker. We'll have her city administrator here today. Mayor Abby for Makati. Mayor Gatchalian for Valenzuela. Mayor Mike Rama for Cebu. Then we've had others, Chris Monterola for AIM to talk about AI and data science. We've talked about mobility, and in this case, EVs. We featured Gogoro electric scooters. We have featured electric buses, which are running in the country right now, in some cities anyway. And we've had many other speakers join us, both private sector, national government, mayors, coming to address all these different issues regarding everything from resilience to mobility, to health, to PPPs. And this one is for the local lab. So this is where we featured Iloilo. We featured resilience as well, disaster risk reduction management. So these are the types of topics we deal with here at the Liveable Cities Lab. We even spoke about space and satellite imaging and how they can be used for cities, featuring the Philippine Space Agency. And finally, we talked about PPP projects for LGUs. So we've had a lot of local labs for the last 3 years actually because of COVID. We've run 41, actually 42. So now today's our 43rd. We've had almost 200 speakers. We started face-to-face this year. So we've had way more Zoom participants than face-to-face. And we've had a lot of Facebook views because people watch the replays, I guess, of the sessions after we close out. So we plan to continue this, and we thank you, and also thank you all in the Zoom audience for attending our Liveable Cities Labs. So we're going to close off this year's series with the last one, the 7th lab for the year, when we're going back to where we started, which is intelligent cities. The rise of the digital age has pushed us towards a pressing need for adaptation and innovation. And in the Philippines, the concept of intelligent cities has emerged not merely as a concept, but as a solution for building cities that are sustainable, competitive, and above all, livable. So we're going to have a great panel today speaking before us. We're going to have representatives first of, I guess, 3 cities, if you want to call it that. We have Mayor Benji Magalong for Baguio City, City Administrator Mike Alimurong for Quezon City, Attorney Gisela Calalo, who is with Basis Conversion Development Authority, but they're also a city because they represent New Clark City, which is the, I guess that's the newest city being built and the only city in the country that's being built from scratch. Okay, so they have a golden opportunity to learn from all the mistakes that we've made in large cities like Metro Manila and hopefully get it right. We will also have Undersecretary David Almirol from DICT to speak about the super app, the eGov super app, so that it can be applied to cities and transactions and to GovTech. And then finally, we'll have Janice Rakpan, Head of Government Sector of Globe Telecom. So it should be a quite an active afternoon of topics and discussion and Q&A. And if you have a question, we're going to have time to take your questions during the Q&A period. If you're on Zoom or Facebook, you can type in your questions in the question box, and our staff will pick it up from there and relay that to us here. So let me start with our first speaker. He's actually spoken before at one of our labs, but he spoke virtually. And so I'm very happy to have him here live at the Aboitiz Tech Space. And he's someone I've known, especially during the COVID period, because he was in charge of contact tracing. He managed, as I said, to really control the spread of COVID in Baguio. I can remember when I visited, we had to get a little bit of an application and get tested before we entered the city. So it was a very strict observation of COVID controls. He has had a distinguished career of 38 years of service in the Philippine National Police. He graduated magna cum laude from Philippine Military Academy. He's ventured into the private sector, working in companies like Steel Asia and Infodev Holdings. Currently, he is the mayor of Baguio and one of a handful of mayors who have organized a movement called Mayors for Good Governance, which I'm proud to say many of us in the private sector are supporting, because at the end of the day, leadership matters. When we want to pick and create and build intelligent cities, livable cities, competitive cities, it also boils down to picking and electing the right leaders. And when you have a right leader in place, things will really move in that city. So we're very pleased to have as our speaker today, and he's going to speak on the road to intelligent cities, Baguio City's experience. Let's please welcome Mayor Benji Magalong. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me first express my profound thanks to Sir Bill. It's actually my third time, the third time that I was invited, and twice I respectfully turned down the invitation, but not on the third time. And in fact, I have two big events today in the city of Baguio, but I told my secretary, I will be there. Otherwise, magagalit na sa akin si Sir Bill. We worked together way back when I was still in the Philippine National Police, especially in the aspect of transformation. I was the chairman of the transformation program, and Sir Bill was then the chairman of the advisory council of the Philippine National Police. So thank you for this opportunity to share Baguio City's best practices and current initiatives in this Creating Intelligent Cities in the Philippine event, here at the Aboitiz Tech Space of the Asian Institute of Management. The theme of my talk this afternoon is about how intelligent cities are working towards the attainment of resiliency, which I can say is the main objective of Baguio City right now. For the past 2 years, we have been busy gathering data on the current state of the city in order to give us a good picture where Baguio is right now. The city's current capacity challenges, its population growth, and development strategy and trajectory. The outcome of this endeavor is the crafting of our new city vision, which goes Baguio 2043, a livable, inclusive, and creative city. 2043 is a year we have ambitiously set as a year where we can confidently report that we have overcome irreversible urban decay. I would like to inform you that based on the study of NEDA in 2019, early 2019, urban decay is actually happening in the city of Baguio as early as 1990. The current capacity study in 2019 had projected that there are no solutions on the degradation and loss of the city's natural resources vis-a-vis a population growth. The city will get into a reversible decay or urban decay by 2043. On the succeeding slides, I will unpack how we intend to measure our accomplishments on livability, inclusivity, and creativity. Why creativity? Because Baguio City is just one among 3 cities in the entire country that is recognized or that were recognized by UNESCO as a creative city. First was Baguio City for crafts and folk arts in 2017, followed by Cebu in 2019 for design, and lately, a month ago, Iloilo for gastronomy. The process is now documented in our comprehensive development plan and the comprehensive land use plan. You will also see that we have decided to put communities and barangays to fore, as we can only say that we have achieved the city vision if the barangays also realize the shared vision. On livability, we have developed a barangay livability index where we measured the livability of all the 128 barangays of the city. We have designated the indicators according to the 3 areas set by the Philippine Development Plan for 2023 to 2029, and namely promoting social environment, upgrading the built environment, and improving environmental quality. There are a total of 10 indicators ranging from health services, mobility, accessibility, essentials, water, crime safety, and among others. The score shall now serve as the baseline for the development programs of the barangays and the entire city. On inclusivity, we work to overcome the 4 forms of urban poverty, in which are we make sure that the city's environment can support a healthy population, that there is access to quality education, that there are opportunities for livelihood, innovation, and entrepreneurship, and that the people of the city are empowered, that basic services reach them, that they can only participate in decision-making, and that the leadership is accountable and transparent as well. We are declared UNESCO Creative City in 2017, month of October, and that the creative city is defined along 3 fronts: on urban rejuvenation, economic development, and cultural and social authenticity. The indicators of creativity rank from livability, culture and open spaces, entrepreneurship, creative outputs, intellectual property, cultural tourism, and heritage education. At this point, you can glean from the indicators of livability, inclusivity, and creativity that I had shown and enumerated all converge to the attainment of one distinguished or distinguishing city character, and that's resiliency. But to add further, I would like to inform you that we endeavor to be a resilient city, not on the by 2030 as envisioned by the United Nations DRR, but by 2026. It's an ambitious goal, but we can attain it. We're going to push ourselves to the limit, And we're confident that we will be able to become a resilient hub in the country, hopefully the second resilient hub in the country by 2026. We're also endeavoring to become an innovation hub and a sustainability hub. So those are the three focused areas, strategic focus areas that Baguio City is working on: innovation, sustainability, and resiliency. It takes all efforts, whether we are working towards livability or solving poverty issues, to attain inclusivity, or embodying creativity in all its forms in the city to attain resiliency. With that motivation, we had been exploiting technological tools to analyze deficiencies and guide our decisions, like infrastructure planning. Network analysis guides us in measuring the safety of our barangays in terms of fire response and police response time. We can now plan on where fire and police substations are needed and what kind of force multipliers we need within the communities. With the advent of the universal healthcare, we have to make sure that health facilities reach the populace. We make use of spatial analytics that stimulates how the health services coverage is improved if we site health centers on specific areas. We have developed a digital twin for all barangays to determine the locations of hazards and inform residents of the risk. You see here one barangay in Baguio with a fault traversing it, as well as the presence of sinkholes. And that's actually on the western side of the city of Baguio. And we are in the middle of preparing for the second housing site because we will have to relocate these families to safer grounds. Our risk profile database has been currently improved with the data that was given to us by the DOST PhilBog. This data on the number of floors of all the buildings in this particular barangay is given more insight with the PhilBog's data on seismic micronization, or we call it commonly called seismic stratigraphy. Micronization tells us the ground movement in this barangay should there be a seismic event inside or outside the city of Baguio. The ground movement is categorized as 0.3 or 0.4 seconds, which if divided by 10 tell us the number of stories of buildings that are considered high on seismic risk. With micronization, we now know which buildings are critical. In the case of this barangay, all the 3- and 4-story buildings. This is the reason why we are now very strict on building permits and structural design. And one of the challenges that we're now facing because of digital twin, which is actually an avatar of the entire city, we have developed the 3-dimensional model of the city of Baguio, and we found out that there are a total of 110,000 small and big structures inside the 57 square area covering the entire city. And out of the 110,000, this is the bad news. Only 21,500 plus have building permits, meaning there are about 90,000 buildings or structures that are not covered with building permits. So what we have developed in Baguio is a community-level seismic risk profiling using specific site and building characteristics. We now have greater discrimination of seismic risk. Right now, we're currently developing the analytics for landslides and flooding. The digital intelligence that we're now using, coupled by investing on community-based monitoring system, or CBMS, which we budgeted around 45 million pesos, now give us a better picture of who, where, and how many are vulnerable in the barangays and in the entire city. In this barangay has 29% of the population considered vulnerable. We can now tailor fit programs and projects in lowering vulnerabilities according to this profile. Just like what we say when we talk about SDGs, no one should be left behind. We're now working closely with the Asian Institute of Management with Project Minerva. AIM is harnessing the power of data science and AI technology in monitoring, building predictive models of various environmental factors in Baguio City to help us transition into a smart city. The project monitors our air quality, water supply, urban mobility, and these factors are integrated in our smart city index and visualization platform. Being an intelligent city requires us to nurture the young minds in our city. We have established a youth innovation hub where we engage and train young people on the 21st century skills such as robotics, artificial intelligence, and virtual reality. We have set 4 rules on the operationalization of the city vision. And to attain resiliency, it means we need to constantly communicate and work closely with the community. We have actionable goals that are guided by scientifically derived information. That necessary resources to work towards attaining our vision are given with commitment and to have that necessary space to adapt in these changing times. Let me end this presentation by stating that for us to live and attain livability, for us to achieve resiliency, our cities need to be intelligent. Our cities need to be guided by data. The digital analytics design in the context of the city should be developed. And more importantly, that we will always need to welcome innovation as it is what will sustain our livable cities. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I like how you used a lot of mapping and seismic profiling for Baguio City. We're going to get a chance to ask you some questions later on, but yeah, a couple of shocking figures come out. 90,000 structures without a building permit. 90, yeah, 90. And if you look at the map of seismic vulnerability, it's also pretty well all red. It's all under a severe risk. So it's something that bears watching. And of course, Baguio, under the mayor, has been very proactive trying to put in improvements and better response systems. I know Mayor didn't get a chance to talk about the command center, but maybe we'll ask you a little bit about how your command center works, because I understand it's one of the best we have in the country. For our next speaker, as I mentioned, this is not really a city in the traditional sense that we know it. I believe it is not yet a political unit, so it's not a city that's been created by law, I guess, like most other cities. Nonetheless, it is known as New Clark City. It is within the Clark property. I don't want to call it zone because the zone is smaller. The zone is just a subset of the entire Clark land area. And it's a site where they started by building, I guess, the Southeast Asia Games facilities, but a lot more has been planned for New Clark City. And one of the advantages, I guess, and unique features about New Clark City is that it's really built from scratch. Years ago, I remember when we visited it, and I have an office in Clark at PDRF, so I'm a locator. When we visited New Clark City, it was just a open space of land, and there was nothing built there yet. The stadium, the swimming pool, the athletic facilities were not yet there. They have since been built, and more areas and roads are being built in the New Clark City area. And so what also makes it unique is New Clark City, to my knowledge, has no mayor, but it does have BCDA. Okay, so BCDA is and Clark Development Corporation are the, I guess, owners, you could say, of this city that's literally being born before our eyes. So today we're very happy to have Attorney Gisela Calalo, the Executive Vice President of BCDA, or the Basis Conversion Development Authority. Her job is to focus on transforming former military lands into growth districts, overseeing BCDA's operations and implementing critical development programs. She's had extensive experience rising through the ranks since 2016 and played key roles in legal services, contributing to successful negotiations and high-impact projects. Attorney Calalo's expertise has been instrumental in BCDA's initiatives, including the Clark International Airport Terminal, which I must say, if you haven't a chance to visit it, I would urge you to visit the new Clark Airport. Better still, fly out of New Clark Airport, something I wish to do one day. And the innovative New Clark City, fostering improved connectivity and employment opportunities. For those of you who might have difficulty imagining what New Clark City might look like if you go there today, maybe you take a side trip to BGC, because BGC was a vacant piece of land when BCDA converted it and went into in effect, a public-private partnership to create BGC area. So it's not an impossible thing to do. They've done it once before, and I have a great deal of faith that they'll be able to do it a second time. So let's please listen to Attorney Gisela Calalo to speak about shaping tomorrow's cities, the journey of New Clark City. Attorney, the floor is yours.
So good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank the organizer for inviting us and for this opportunity to present our company and what we have been doing in and around Clark. So our company is the Basis Conversion and Development Authority. It is a creation of law, specifically Republic Act 7227. It is a state-owned corporation, and its mandate is to convert former military base lands into major economic hubs. As a prime mover of national development, BCDA is one of the key players of the Philippine government's Build Better, More Trust. We are delivering vital infrastructure that catalyze growth outside Metro Manila. Sorry, here. Sorry. So as steward of national development, the state transferred to BCDA several properties, and these properties have been converted into a free-port zone and or special economic zones. So we have properties in Northern Luzon. We have Poro Point, Freeport and Special Economic Zone, which is in La Union. Of course, the John Hayes Special Economic Zone in Baguio City. And in Central Luzon, we have the Clark Freeport and Clark Special Economic Zone in the provinces of Tarlac and Pampanga. We also have the Morong Discovery Park in Bataan. And finally, we have the Bonifacio Global City as well as the Newport City in Metro Manila. So including Subic, these economic zones form a strategic corridor that help foster economic growth and bring opportunities to all. Okay, so we are proud to say that BCDA is we have this track record of building great cities. So this one, we all know, this is the, I assume that everyone has been here. This is the Bonifacio Global City. So one of the major projects of BCDA in Metro Manila. This is a portion of the former Fort William McKinley, which was established by the US government and which then became the Fort Bonifacio when the property was ceded by the US government to the Philippine government. And then to BCDA, where we have transformed it into what is known as the Bonifacio Global City. Bonifacio Global City, as we all know, is one of the top central business districts in Manila. We have developed this in partnership with known local real estate developers, the Ayala Land Incorporated and the Evergreen Holdings Incorporated through joint venture agreement. So Bonifacio Global City, you will see flagship stores, upscale developments, and of course offices that house top companies in the country. It also is a location for premier educational institutions such as the International School of Manila. We have the British School of Manila and the Japanese Manila School, to name a few. Next slide, please. This is also part of the former Fort William McKinley. This is a township flourishing project we call the McKinley Hill. This was built in partnership with another known local company, the Mega World Corporation, and it is now a hub for foreign embassies, educational institutions as well, and educational institutions and other upscale developments. Next, please. So I only have 10 minutes, but I think, okay. So this is another one, the Newport City, which is just across the Ninoy Aquino International Airport, and it's now a hub for a hotel, it's a home for hotels, integrated resorts, and also office spaces and residential developments. Next slide, please. So I'll go fast. I'll go back to one of our properties. This is the Clark Freeport and Special Economic Zone. This is the biggest land holdings of BCDA, measuring about 32,000 hectares, 4,400 of which is the Clark Freeport Zone, and the rest is the Clark Special Economic Zone, where New Clark City is located. Next slide, please. So we are positioning Clark. BCDA is positioning Clark as Asia's next investment destination. And we have established this strong and holistic approach, which we call One Clark. Because Clark offers boundless opportunities for growth and collaboration. So together with the BCDA group and everyone else, we have this common goal of transforming Clark into a premier metropolis and gateway. Next slide, please. Also, in line with that, we will develop together with our implementing arm, the Clark Central Business District. This will be the next largest and most modern central business district in the country. It will stand in a 100-hectare hub of economic activities and vibrant urban lifestyle in the heart of the expansive Clark Freeport Zone. Next slide, please. We will be also developing the Clark International Convention and Exhibition Center, also together with our implementing arm. And this aims to truly position, make Clark as one of the Asia's financial centers. So our target is to increase tourist arrivals and at the same time make Clark the center for MICE in the country, which will enable us to have more networking opportunities and business exchanges. Next slide, please. So why Clark? Because Clark is unmatched in terms of connectivity. Next slide, please. Sorry, I have to go fast because, okay. For road, we have the Subic-Clark Tarlac Expressway. This was developed together with JICA, with the assistance of JICA. And this serves as this is a 94-kilometer long expressway, one of the longest expressways in the country. And this serves as a vital link among Subic, Clark, Tarlac, and also instrumental in transforming the northern and central Luzon into a world-class logistics and transshipment hub. We also have other roads, or we have constructed several connecting roads going to New Clark City with dedicated bike lanes. Now for aviation, by the way, SCTEX is a project and it's a property also owned by BCDA. The Clark International Airport, which is also BCDA's project, we also own this property. This was built with the vision of providing convenience of a world-class gateway with seamless connectivity to vital infrastructure and major economies of the world. This can accommodate 8 million passengers annually, and that can be expanded into 80 million passengers annually with the construction of additional terminals and runways. So this will help decongest NAIA and will help us drive the post-pandemic recovery of the country through, of course, the jobs it will generate and the trade it will facilitate. Next slide, please. So this is the interior of the airport. Next slide. Very nice. I hope you could go there and visit. Very nice airport. So again, another form of connectivity, why we are unmatched. We all know that there is an ongoing project by the Philippine government. This is the North-South Commuter Rail. And once completed, this will make travel time from Manila to Clark in less than 1 hour. So for now, we can travel by land or by private cars in 2 to 2.5 hours. But once this is developed, once this project is completed, travel time will only be less than an hour. And one of the stations of this commuter rail is located right in front the Clark International Airport. Next slide, please. Connectivity. So with the Department of Information and Communications Technology, we have partnered with Facebook. This is for the development of the Luzon bypass infrastructure. This aims to provide faster internet connectivity, not just a fast internet connectivity, but provide affordable internet services as well. So next slide, please. I have to go. Okay. So I wish to walk you through, this is the frontier of development of BCDA. This is the New Clark City, which is being administered and directly by BCDA because most of our ecozones are administered by our subsidiaries or what we call the implementing arms. But for this project, we directly managed and administered it. So this is the smart, green, sustainable, and resilient development in Clark. It's a 9,450 hectare property, and we will be offering it to investors or locators through lease arrangements or joint venture agreements for a maximum period of 75 years. As shown, it has a projected population of 1.2 million, as well as a projected employment of about 600,000 workers. Next slide, please. So why in Clark? So BCDA chose Clark to be the location of this development because Clark is situated at the heart of in the heart of Luzon. So there are about 50 or over 50 million people. Clark offers safer and disaster resilient location for both public and private sectors. Apart from that, the natural topography of Clark makes it a lot more disaster resilient than the current seat of the government and the center of economy, which is Metro Manila. It is protected from typhoon because it is surrounded by mountains, Clark, right? And then, well, admittedly, We cannot do anything about the Mount Pinatubo nearby, but maybe we can pray that it remains dormant for the next 500 years or so. But again, the high elevation of this property will spare it from being damaged by the lahar flow. And also, in developing this property, we are constructing better infrastructure that enough to withstand at least 1 meter thick ash flow. Next slide, please. Thank you. So here you will see our plan for New Clark City. So it's worthy to note that only 40% of the entire property will be developable. The rest will be kept as green and open spaces. So there you go. You will see there will be series of parks and green spaces interconnected, making it a haven in the post-pandemic world. Next slide, please. So this is our overall sustainability framework for NCC. With 3 major goals: the effective governance, a green city, and a people-centric city. So these 3 goals stem from our vision, and that became our take-off point to form 9 main sustainable strategies, right? So these goals emphasize the need for a development that is efficient and that follows best practices. And another, very importantly, a development that addresses the human element. While technology is a prime motivator and guide for locators, we think that social and environmental strategies will offer a chance for this development to endure over time. Next slide, please. So this is an existing development already. We called it the National Government Administrative Center, or NGAC. This was built in just 18 months, okay, to host the 2019 SEA Games. So it has world-class sports facilities, a 20,000-seater stadium, as well as a 2,000-seater aquatic center. Both are certified by international association or federation. It also has open spaces where the workers and of course the residents which can be enjoyed by the workers and the residents. Next slide, please. So in NGAC, we have already built 2 government buildings. It is worthy to note that one of the visions for this development is to serve as a backup site for the government, because we want to help ensure that the government will continue to serve the public, will continue its operations in case of the happening of a catastrophic event, God forbids. So the government is in fact very supportive of this vision, because our former president, Rodrigo Duterte, issued an executive order mandating all the government agencies under the executive branch to put up or establish satellite offices in New Clark City. So these are just a few of the government agencies that have already signified their intention to locate in New Clark City. Next slide, please. So one of our government locators is the Central Bank of the Philippines. They have chosen New Clark City as their location for their minting facility and for the establishment of a complex. They are eyeing for a state-of-the-art security for their production facility, and they are also pushing for a more greener and more efficient complex for their employees. So this is a 31-hectare development by BSP. Another one is our Department of Science and Technology. They have also chosen NCC to put up the very first Virology and Vaccine Institute of the Philippines. Now, as we all know, this was triggered by the pandemic. So this facility will serve as the premier research and development facility in the field of virology. This is a 5-hectare development in New Clark City. We have also partnered with known universities and schools in New Clark City because we want to ensure a steady stream of graduates for our locators. So there would be the National Academy of Sports. The school has already been built and will be operational soon. The intention is to mold students who will qualify for NAS. So that they will be ready for international tournaments. We also have the University of the Philippines, the Philippine Science High School, and the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Next slide, please. So this is an ongoing development in New Clark City. This is the Hanlac Mountain Resort. It is a 440-hectare development. This will be in partnership, or this is in partnership with the Korean locator, the WIDAS Consortium. And this will include hospitality facilities by luxury spas and resort brands such as Angsana and Banyan Tree, together with Lux Collection by Marriott and Westin. There will also in this development, there will also be 3 18-hole championship golf courses. One will be the Nicholas design. The other one will be designed by international golfer KJ Choi. And the last one will be the Nick Faldo signature design. Next slide, please. So in New Clark City, we were able to get to secure a grant from the UK FDCO, and we were able to formulate this plan. This is the New Clark Central Park, New Clark City Central Park, and this will rise at the heart of NCC. This will be inspired by the best practices and the Philippine heritage. So this will serve as a breathing space in the business district and residential areas in New Clark City, where their employees and of course the residents can enjoy the benefits of the expansive green expanse. So to complement that, we have started constructing this green corridor. Presently, we have a 1.4 green corridor. This is the River Park corridor, and it has bikeways, jogging paths, spots for wellness such as yoga, and this will be extended to 9-kilometer long throughout the entire development in New Clark City. Next slide, please. I just want to go through the investment opportunities in Clark City very quickly. Next slide. So these are the industrial estates. We have identified 3 major industrial estates located in premier locations in New Clark City, composed of 100-hectare, 250-hectare, and another 100-hectare property. But these are just for expansion of the industrial areas. Presently, we have the Philinvest Innovation Park. Next slide, please. So this is, in fact, a 288-hectare property for mixed-use development. But within this property is already 120-hectare development ready to accommodate investors who are in the business of logistics, light manufacturing, warehousing, food processing, and even pharmaceuticals to complement the Virology and Vaccine Institute of the Philippines. Next slide. Our very first locator, this is an EV manufacturing company owned by one of the Australia's lead companies, the St. Baker Energy Innovation Fund. Next slide, please. We also have this project. This is the Affordable Homes project. We've learned our lesson in BGC, where the employees could hardly afford properties within BGC. So in this development, we make sure that we have this project. This will address the residential needs of the workers. We are targeting the low to medium income earners because we want them to live within the reach of the commercial, industrial districts. Next slide, please. So we also have this project, the NCC Common ICT Infrastructure, because NCC is a greenfield development. So we are looking for a partner who will develop this. This is for the common use of the internet providers, because we want our locators and the citizens to be connected through wired and wireless services. So this project will include the construction of an underground corridor as an encasement of for the conduit. So we will have a minority stake in this project. And again, this project will deliver a wholesale passive network services to the internet providers, even the TV cable providers, the ICT businesses, the data center operators, and the like. Next slide, please. We also have this data center co-location facility. So we are welcome to investors who are investors who are into data centers. So as an asset contribution by BCDA, we will be granting our indivisible rights of use over the spectrum, and at the same time, we will also grant the use of fractory rights over the land. Next slide, please. This is another area of investment, the solid waste management and waste to energy project. Presently, we have 100-hectare existing landfill in New Clark City, and that property is ready for integrated solutions and renewable energy project. This project will fulfill the energy requirements in New Clark City. Next slide, please. And to complement that, we are also looking for a partner to develop, to lease and develop a 37-hectare property into a large-scale photovoltaic solar farm. This project, again, will supplement the energy requirements in New Clark City, and this will also contribute to Luzon Grid's power supply. Next slide, please. Clark is a transit-oriented metropolis. And in fact, in the plans of New Clark City, we ensure that public transportation, the active and smart mobility solutions are integrated in the overall design. So we are embarking on a transit-oriented developments. And in Clark, we will establish, or we will look for a partner who will establish a two multimodal transport hub with TOD model. So this will be supported by a network road connecting New Clark City and the Clark Special Economic Zone. Next slide, please. So to jumpstart that project, we have signed a memorandum of agreement with a Japan-based company. This is for the demonstration of an energy efficient and smart transportation system that will run in New Clark City as well as in Clark Special Economic Zone, the rest of the Clark Special Economic Zone. Of course, to cater the needs of our employees, our residents in New Clark City, as well as our visitors, we need investors for the development of a mixed-use, retail, and F&B. So that ends my, sorry, I have to be very quick. I wish to discuss more, but that ends my discussion. I just want to state that BCDA really continues to be the state's partner in developing not just the economic, but the social growth of the country as well. And we will continue to create great cities where people can live, learn, enjoy, work, and play. So thank you very much. Maraming salamat po, and I hope you're able to.
Thank you, Attorney Gisela. I can tell you that since we are wearing my other hat as PDRF, we're a locator in Clark, so we're great believers in the safety and the resilience of Clark. Regarding Mount Pinatubo, well, scientists tell us that it has a 600-year return period, so we're well within that time frame. Last eruption was 1990, I believe, right? So we're well within the 600 years, and yeah, I think it looks so inviting. And as I said, for those, it might seem like a lot of plans and dreams right now, but I would say look at BGC, roll back the clock, and BGC was once upon a time just like that, but today the BGC is a thriving central business district. So rarely does an organization get a second chance to build another city from scratch on a larger piece of property, actually. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens. But thank you very much, Attorney Gisela, for the presentation. Our third speaker is an old friend of mine. I can remember when he called me one day, and he texted me one day and asked me if I had time for lunch. And I said, sure, what would you like to talk about? So I came for lunch, and he said that he had been invited to join the government and wanted my advice, whether to do it or not. And well, I was very flattered and honored that he asked me about it. And I still remember my response. I said, if you want to help a lot of people, government is a good place to be in, but you have to have a sort of a high tolerance for bureaucracy, and you would kind of lose a bit of your privacy as a result of jumping into government service. On the other hand, you could stay out and still help the government in some ways, but obviously it'd have a larger impact if you're in. Ultimately, it's a personal decision in terms of how well you think you can adapt to the culture of government and to an agency. So fast forward, he jumped into it head first, very enthusiastically. Today, he is the Undersecretary for E-Government at the DICT. He's a computer science graduate, a systems analyst, a full stack programmer, over 15 years of system development and integration experience. He was the founder and CEO of his own company before joining government. He moves fast, he's agile. He's moved remarkably fast, I think, within the bureaucracy at the ICT. And we've invited USEC David Almirol to speak today about transforming into an intelligent nation. And I think one of the items that caught my eye is that he's so fast at getting apps to be developed including, I believe, the eGov app, which is trying to kind of pull in all the agencies and LGUs together to get on. And if you remember early on, I said that GovTech was one of our challenges. We fill out too much paper. I was just at an ARTA Ease of Doing Business Summit a few days ago. I think you were a speaker as well, Yusek David, at the Ease of Doing Business Summit. But yeah, that's the common complaint of people. It's just still we go through too much analog work, and it's good to see someone organize government transactions to become more digital. So I'm happy that David accepted the challenge and opportunity to join government and join the ICT. So today it's my pleasure to introduce the Undersecretary of E-Government or E-Government at the ICT, Undersecretary David Almirol. David?
Thank you. Actually, that's before I joined the government, I listed down 50 people that I need to talk to because I need their advice. Because most of my friends, if I ask them, their first reaction was, "Are you crazy?" So, I'm so thankful that I had a lot of mentors, friends, good friends who was able to guide me and accept the challenge. It's true. Maybe when I was in the private, not about mouthing, but maybe I may be one of the private entities who were complaining about the inefficiencies, why we can't do it, it can be done, why it's not. And because I see Mike Alimorong was able to do it in Quezon City. In fact, they are the first government agency, local government who was able to integrate to the eGov super app immediately, just less than a week. And I've seen Mayor Magalong who was able to innovate Baguio City. And I studied there and I see how he was able to transform that mountainous area into a high-end, high-tech city as well. So it can be done. A lot of frustration, but honest to goodness, when I joined the government, I shut up. Now I see the bureaucracy, the processes that we have to follow. But again, Mayor Magalong was advising me even before. And now he mentioned to me very good things that it's true. You know, I think we need to fight the good fight. So I accepted the offer. And thank you, Bill, for one of my mentor during those times. So, well, I prepared around 1,700 pages PowerPoint presentation, Bill. So, no, I'm just kidding. So, okay. All right, that's why when Bill asked me to speak, I think this is not actually just an opportunity for me to make you a bit of that smile, but it's also a privilege to show you that it can be done, but not just the ICT. It can be done by massive network of collaboration between government agencies as well. So, well, the ICT is actually a massive, if I may say, responsibility because we are a non-sectoral department. So we are assisting around 455 government agencies, not to name the 100 plus SUCs, 100 plus GOCCs, including 82 provinces with 1,700 local government units. So before I joined the government, I read the mandate of the ICT. And when I was checking on the mandate, we're not just primary policy. We do planning, coordination, but take note, we need to also to do implementation, administration, and promotion. Anything about information and communications, technology, national agenda. Honest to goodness, I was thinking if I still gonna continue joining the government after reading the mandate, because it's really not possible to do it in a lifetime. Honest to goodness. So but we are very lucky and we're very fortunate to have a tech-savvy president. So when I was speaking with our president, explaining to him about technology and how could we empower ease of doing business and so on and so forth, he is very, if I may say, knowledgeable, and he can really articulate things. In fact, he's the one even guiding us until now what to do first. Then one thing I like, he mentioned to me one time to us, is start with the most doable ones. Start with the most implementable ones, and then move from there. So that practicality and rationality is actually a very powerful force to allow government agencies to really work hand in hand together. And as his speech during the SANA, that digitalization is really one of his priority. And he asked everyone to digitalize not only just the front end, but including the back end functions to make sure that it's called digital transformation. Actually, when I joined the government, I listed down some of the challenges first. This is not new to you, I'm sure. The long lines, the costly transactions, filling up a lot of forms. And sometimes it's really irritating. And you know that it can be done easily, like being done by other countries, but here in the Philippines, it's really quite complex. But we're so lucky because when we're able to explain this to the president, I was able to draw this to him actually. I remember when he visited me in our facility, and this is the reason why we're not actually elevating innovation in the Philippines. Yes, some of them, most of us, we innovate, but the problem is everyone is actually like siloed. And if they want to integrate, they talk to everyone. Everyone is talking to everyone. Everyone is shouting. It's too noisy already. And there was no so-called governance because everyone is integrating. Example, GSIS integrate to PSA, PSA to Pag-ibig, Pag-ibig to BIR, BIR to DOT, DOT to DTI, and so on and so forth. So there was no governance. And and I like the word API, as mentioned a while ago by Quezon City. Imagine they have their own system, but they can still collaborate. They're able to link their system to our system via APIs. It can be done. And this is actually the mistake in the past because aside from everything is siloed, everything is repetitive. So imagine you go to one place, you submit your document repeatedly, your first name, your last name, your middle name, you submit an ID. You go to another agency, you have to do the same. And again and again. And you renew a simple document, you do it again. So while the BCDA was presenting, it's actually almost the same. The strategy of BCDA is almost the same with e-government. I will explain that shortly. So when we're able to present this strategy to the president to come up with a rotonda. Rotonda, I always use the Quezon City Circle as an example. Because if you want to go to multiple areas, the rotonda is a very powerful platform to use. So that you don't need to go to multiple, the esquinitas, small roads, right? And that is actually the power of e-governance. You need to create a rotonda so that someone use a rotonda, they can go either ways. So they can go anywhere they want. They can still benefit multiple ways without crisscrossing a lot of things. Walang traffic. Nakakatulong siya sa traffic, no? So he approved the creation of the single operating system. In fact, the presentation was a one-stop shop. But during the sectoral meeting in Malacanang, he called it, let's create a government single operating system. So pinanganak po yung e-government platform. By the way, it's not e-gov app. E-gov app is not the platform. It's the e-government platform is the real platform. If you go to Clark or you go to advanced cities, you might be wondering, but you cannot see any more spaghetti electricity wires or canals or exposed sewerages or mga tubo ng water utilities because they're able to fix first the foundation. So they're able to fix everything underneath so that if someone build infrastructure on top of it, they will benefit from that foundation. So this is also the same approach for e-government. Without a foundation, a strong foundation, everything we build vertically will collapse later on. So I visited the Mayor Magalong's headquarters. So I like the foundation model of Baguio City, even Quezon City, because what they did is they fixed first the necessity. Those integrations, nag-ready muna. And every time they innovate, they just build verticals on top of it. Hindi guguho yun kasi they're able to fix that foundation. So it's actually a very good model for us to survive in this changing world. I know na marami kayong nabalitaan in the past na picture taking, merong innovation na ila-launch, and then pagkalipas ng ilang taon, hahanapin mo nasan na, gumuho na. Kasi they always talk about a vertical thing, but they forgot the horizontal thing. So that's why e-government platform is very, if I may say, timely, and we've launched this like 4 months after we joined. Okay, I wish I could present you the back end of e-government platform. It's really beautiful, dynamic, microservice. So you can add whatever innovation in the future. So, okay, so there's also a new law that hopefully it can be passed in the Senate. Pumasa na to sa Congress. It's called the E-Governance Act. You know, when I was studying the reason why hindi lumilipad yung mga innovations sa Pilipinas, especially sa government, I discovered one thing. Walang excited na IT professional or expert na mag-join sa government. So number 1, ang baba ng sweldo. Number 1. Number 2, yung birokrasa medyo matindi. No? So imagine mo, yung sweldo sa private times 4 kumpara doon sa ang liit na sweldo sa government. So no one would like to stay. So meaning we will fail. So if no one would like to stay in the government, everything we started will collapse. So this bill is actually a solution to that. Because part of the provision, tataas po ang sweldo ng mga IT professionals all throughout government agencies para mag-stay sila sa government. I was an OFW when I finished college as a programmer. Imagine mo, ang unang-unang pangarap ko agad-agad ako mag-abroad ako. Never na napunta sa isip ko na magtrabaho ako sa Pilipinas kasi nga alam ko na hindi ako mabubuhay kapag employment lang. So this is actually one of the bill that we're fighting, and we're so thankful that the Congress approved it, and we cannot see any hurdle sa Senate. I think it's going smoothly. Another Republic Act is actually the Ease of Doing Business Act under the Office of the President. This is ARTA. This is the Ease of Doing Business Act, 11032. So si ARTA, ang sipag. Ang trabaho niya, lulusob sa agency sa mga komplikadong proseso, and their job is to simplify it. Let's say the step is from 1 to 10. So what they do is simplify that into 1, 2, 3 maybe, and then they will call DICT, gawin mo yung trabaho mo. Parang ganon. So parang we are the workers of ARTA. So they simplify the process, streamline it, then they go to us and then develop it and implement it. So ganon yung naging relationship namin with ARTA. We have a very symbiotic partnership with the Anti-Red Tape Authority. Because kapag madaming pila, maraming red tape. Kapag komplikado yung proseso, maraming red tape. Pero kapag in-automate mo yan, like no ginawa ng Quezon City, ginawa ng Baguio, walang red tape. May iwasan yung red tape. Well, marami kaming project po no, sa DICT, but to give you some smiles, we implemented successfully like 12 of them, but I listed down 6 of the projects here. Unang-una, the ELGU, I will explain that later on. E-travel. Ano kayang e-travel na yan? Mamaya I will present that a bit. The eGov Pay, we have the eGov Cloud, we have the e-report, and the latest one, nung June, nilaunch natin yung eGov Super App. In fact, this is actually the entries sa international community para tumaas naman yung ranking natin sa e-governance. Alam niyo bang number 89 tayo? Out of 170 yata countries. Ang baba ng ranking natin. So I spoke with some international group, ba't naman ang baba-baba ng aming ranking sa Pilipinas? Nag-i-innovate naman yung mga LGU, yung mga government agency. So they cited 3 things. Aside from the human capital empowerment, sa digitalization, ang problema, number 1, yes, nag-i-innovate daw tayo sa Pilipinas, pero hindi tayo nag-uusap-usap. Kanya-kanya. Kaya paulit-ulit ang entrada. Kaya walang governance. Number two, ang problema is hindi natin ine-empower yung human capital natin sa government. Karamihan kontrolado tayo ng mga contractors. Yun yung isang nasabi nila na medyo nahihirapan kasi nga syempre vested interest karamihan ng mga contractor kaya hindi makapag-move ang government. That's also one of the issue. The last issue na na-explain sa amin is communication. Hindi maganda yung communication kasi wala tayong mga CIOs. Okay, which is part of the law po yun na mamaya I can also mention that. Under the law of the 10844, dapat magkaroon ng CIO lahat ng government agency na nagre-report kay DICT. Hindi po nangyari yan. Noong March lang namin ni-launch, we're able to launch the CIO Council. The chairman of the CIO Council is our secretary, Secretary Ivan. I am the CIO of the ICT. And each agency, they need to appoint their permanent or appointed CIO. So that siya yung liable at accountable anything about innovation sa kanyang nasasakupan. Alam niyo kung problema kasi pag magmi-meeting kami, mapag-uusapan, sa susunod na meeting, iba na naman yung kausap mo. Sa sunod na meeting, iba na naman yung kausap mo. Kaya hindi, sa meeting pa lang ang gulo-gulo na. That's why it's very important to fix that communication. So we're fixing that. Okay, so, all right. So, for the past 14 months, we're able to assist around 762 LGUs. Ginagamit na po yung ating business permit ngayon. So gawa po ng DICT yan. So 1,600 po ang LGUs na tinutulungan natin. And recently, we launched the eLGU system to fully automate not just the business permit, but also yung mga health certificate, local CV registry, yung pinapanganak, kinakasal, namamatay. Until now pala, hindi pa pala na-automate. So imagine mo, kung ma-automate sana kahit man lang yung namamatay, o di ang ganda sana na alam agad-agad ng SSS, GSIS, COMELEC, and other agency yung listahan ng mga namamatay para walang bumobotong patay, saka walang, you know what I mean, walang nakiklaim ng PhilHealth na patay. Pati GSIS daw, meron pa din. Okay, so you see, a simple system, a simple solution with the help of the LGUs, pagdating sa taas, ma-automate natin ang agaran. Di ba? So anyway, medyo mahaba-haba pong implementation, but we're able to receive a lot of intent coming from LGUs to really cooperate together with the ILG and ARTA. So meron tayong natapos na 762 LGUs pero hindi pa buong buo. Ang inuna pa lang natin ay yung business permit, yung mga sanitary permit, barangay clearance, isinusunod na ho namin po yung mga RPT, yung real property tax, business tax, and other systems. So that you don't need to fall in line anymore to your respective LGUs. You can do that in the comfort of your home. In fact, as agreed last week, together with the ILG and ARTA, we're launching the 10 minutes business permitting system. So this is something that we would like, and we are pilot launching this with Quezon City. Sila po yung aming, kasi sila po yung ready ngayon. I'm sure po, baka pwede pong sumama na rin pong Baguio kasi ready na po kayo. You have your own system na. Plug and play na lang po tayo, di ho ba? Okay, so anyway, that's the eLGU. So e-travel, I'm sure nagamit nyo na to. Baka sabihin nyo, bakit tanggalin mo na lang yung e-travel? Storbo pa yan. Hindi nyo ba alam, nung unang panahon, while you're sleeping sa aeroplano, gigisingin ka nung crew para mag-fill up ka ng arrival card. Di ba? Tapos, pag-fill up ka pa ng One Health Pass para mag-declare ka ng sakit. Tapos, kung foreigner ka, mag-fill up ka pa ng tourism form. Sa local airport form, may form ulit doon. Sa seaport form, may form ulit. Tapos, may customs form pa. Di ba? So, 7 system yon. So, pinag-isa natin ngayon yon. So, sinimplify natin. So, si e-travel po ay partner ng DOTR, ng DOH, ng Immigration, ng DOH, ng Marina, and other, including BOQ. Ayan. So, in fact, my suggestion is, instead of using the website, use the eGov app para wag ka na mag-fill up paulit-ulit ng information mo. If you use the eGov app, ang fill upan mo lang yung airline details na lang. So hindi ka na mag-fill up pa ng first name mo, last name mo, middle name mo, address mo. You don't need to do that anymore if you use the eGov app. Yeah. So that's the e-travel. In fact, salukuyan yung integration din natin sa OFWs ngayon. And by the way, yesterday lang, in-announce sa akin ng Clark International Airport, paperless na po sila. Pati yung kanilang customs form, wala na rin. So imagine mo, wala na rin pong customs form. NAIA 1 and Clark, sila yung nauna na mag-paperless na airport. And by the way, hindi lang po siya simple. Kasi si e-travel, connected na din siya sa e-gate, connected na rin siya sa immigration system. You know kung bakit may pila sa airport dati? Kasi aside sa kukunti yung immigration officer, nagmamanual entry pala yung mga immigration officer. Pagdating mo sa airport, pag scan ng passport mo, fill up pa nila kung anong bansa ka galing, anong airline ang sinakyan mo, and so on and so forth. Kaya meron pong manual na ginagawa ng immigration officer. But because of the e-travel, pagka-scan ng passport mo, mau-auto-fill up lahat-lahat yun. Kaya mapansin nyo ngayon sa airport, bumilis yung proseso kasi wala na pong nag-encode, wala nang ine-encode ng mga immigration officer. You see, a very simple platform, but it could have an impact to a lot of citizens. You don't need to fill up anything, dire-diretso ka na lang. Pati sa e-gate, pagka-scan mo doon, connected na rin doon yung ating e-travel system. Okay? So that's the e-travel. So eGovPay. So this actually in partnership with Land Bank and Bureau of Treasury. Alam nyo ba na natutuwa tayo kasi we can pay online na. Pero alam niyo, wasak po yung collection system ngayon ng karamihang government agency. Aside sa API isa-isa na kinukonsume nila, magta-transmit ng report isa-isa yung mga e-wallet, mga bangko, mga collection centers, magko-consolidate na ganyan. Pag-remit ng pera sa bangko or land bank, si land bank oo na lang siya pero wala siyang ledgering system. Hindi niya alam kung saan nanggagaling yung mga payments. In fact, wala na ring accountability or monitoring system si Bureau of Treasury. Kasi pagtingin na may na-remit sa account sa land bank, pati si Bureau of Treasury, okay na yan. Wala nang checking at all. Wala nang trial balance. Kasi nawala na po ang ledgering system natin na nagkaroon ng e-payment system. So we're fixing that. So the eGovPay will harmonize that to create a more transparent and more automated system. And this will empower all payment channels. Matutuwa po sila. Hindi na sila magmamarket. Matutuwa si GCash, si Maya, si Nabayad Center, and lahat sila. Pero ang hiling ng namin sa kanila, wag naman na yung sobrang laki ng convenience fees. Napansin niyo lalaki ng convenience fees? So that's why Bureau of Treasury now and even ARTA is asking them now to have a standardization of fees. Hindi dapat naman na excessive, di ba? Anyway, that's the eGov. And this is the situation, no? Para at least alam ho ninyo for your appreciation. Every agency, pati local government, ganyan ang itsura. No? So, isa-isang nag-i-integrate. Pero si eGovPay, hindi siya obstructive. Okay? Hindi siya kalaban. Enabler siya. It could support everyone. Hindi siya competition. Actually, tuwang-tuwa dito ang Land Bank, pati BSP, kasi this will now simplify the processes. And for the first time, maibalik natin yung ledgering system. And for the first time, nag-i-issue na rin po ng official receipt. Nakaka-receive ba kayo ng official receipt ngayon pag nagbabayad kayo online? Di ba hindi? Dati nung unang panahon, pag magbabayad ka sa government, meron yung booklet, yung pinupunit. 001, 002, 003. Kahit pa paano na-account. Kapag may auditor, pwedeng ma-account. Pero ngayon, dahil wala na pong nag-i-issue ng series ng official receipt, nawawala na po yung transparency. But using the eGov system, and this is also one of the priority po ng ARTA actually. In fact, ARTA po ang nagpatawag sa amin to really initiate this because they already see that pag hindi ayusin ito, magiging magulo in the future. eGov Cloud, another project po na nilaunch natin first quarter this year. The reason behind it is si DBM kasi or mga agencies nagkakanya-kanya. Kanya-kanyang bumibili ng mga servers niya, cloud services niya, na walang visibility na at all ang central office. Kaya ang DICT, pag may nahack, kami sinisisi, pero actually wala naman kaming kamuwang-muwang kasi wala kami at all kaalam-alam yung sa ginagamit nilang mga data center nila, cloud services nila. So hirap na hirap yung Cybersecurity Bureau namin. And napaka-costly po nito, especially sa national government agency. Sa LGU kasi, there's a mandamus ruling. Maganda doon kasi API lang ang kailangan natin, pero sa national government dapat unified para hindi pa ulit-ulit. It's called the single entry only. Pag pinasok yung data dapat ng BIR dito, or SEC dito, or DTI dito, dapat yan makikinabang lahat-lahat. Ganun dapat yung approach natin. It's called the single policy only. So ganyan po yung problema in the past. No? masyadong magastos, komplikado, yung maintenance, mahirap, at napakaraming risk ng duplication, including security risk. But using the eGov Cloud will bring efficiency to the government agency para gagaan din yung trabaho namin sa cybersecurity. Ayan, that's the eGov Cloud platform that we're able to launch. By the way, we launched also the e-report. Ano ba tong e-report na ito? Inuna namin sa isang maliit na city. Supposed to be, launch namin ito kasi sa Quezon, ang laki ng Quezon City, so inuna namin ang San Juan. So kasi mas maliit siya. So, pwede ka na mag-report ng red tape, makaka-receive ang ARTA, yung complaint mo. Pag nag-report ka ng overpricing, makaka-receive si DTI. Pag nag-report ka ng child abuse, si Commission for the Welfare of Children ang maka-receive for them to respond. If you report for women abuse, the Philippine Commission on Women will receive the message. If you report for accident, the DOTR will receive the message. If you report for fire, the Bureau of Fire will receive it. The good news is, if you report for crime, ito yung maganda, the nearest patrol officer, the nearest police officer will receive the message. Okay, so, and nagsubok kami sa San Juan, 6 agad-agad na possible, na muntik na apprehend nila yung mangyayaring crime. Kasi nag-report sila ng robbery, nag-report ng nag-aaway, nagbubugbugan na mag-asawa, papatayan na doon sa kapitbahay. Dumating agad-agad yung police in less than 5 minutes. Parang nag-order ka lang ng Grab. Parang nag-order ka lang ng police. So this is actually a project with the DILG and PNP. And in fact, yesterday, meron kaming workshop. So unahin muna ang metro muna, susunod ang Cebu, then Iloilo, then all throughout the country. Marami pa po. No, we're not perfect. We're not saying, we're not exciting you that we're doing well. Honest to goodness, we're facing a lot of challenges. Aside from those bureaucracy, we are also facing a lot of integration challenges. Kasi we need to make them ready, right? And we're not be the one to do their job. They should innovate on their own. They should innovate independently, and as they innovate, we integrate. Okay, so because we cannot do the job, kami pa ang gagawa in behalf of them. Okay? All LGUs should innovate on their own kung kaya nila, and then we integrate it. Same thing with national government. So these are the accomplishments for 2020 to 2023. Ito po yung mga future. In fact, ginagawa namin ngayon ang apostille, pati CHED. If you use the eGov app, magugulat ka later on. You can see your diploma. You can see your transcript of record, para we can kill already the recto university, you know the recto university na pinaghirapan mo yung kurso mo, pagdating mo doon 10 minutes doktor ka na, di ba? So anyway, there you go. So, and one of the flagship project of the ICT is actually the eGov super app. So nagulat kami kasi wala kaming promotion masyado. So, ang dami na pong gumagamit. You can see the reviews, and we're able to integrate around 37 government agencies and 200 LGUs already sa ating eGov Super App. Ang unang-una pong city na nag-integrate dyan is actually Quezon City po, sa LGU. Ayan, but we expect to have around 50 million users in the next couple of years. In fact, inaantay lang po namin pong mabuo yung aming cloud service na mas matibay. Kasi if we launch this, we make sure po na ready tayo, yung pundasyon, or else guguho po ito. At we even task the Cybersecurity Bureau to check everything to make sure na wala tayong problema po in terms of cybersecurity. Ayan, so this is the one-stop shop, one-stop app for government services. By the way, we launched the government as a service. In fact, Quezon City, pwede nyo nang gamitin yung national ID. We have an API already. Para i-plug and play nyo sa mga system ninyo para walang pekeng gumamit ng mga sistema ng LGU. We have the API already. We also have the partners API so that you can also link your system to the eGov app as well. You don't need to change anything. Lahat ng innovation niyo gamitin natin yan. You don't need to repeat things. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Plug and play na lang siya using our 2 simplified APIs. So actually, as mentioned nga kanina, Quezon City took us like 3 to 4 days lang na nagawa nila yung integration ng API. By the way, nilipat po sa amin ang use case at national ID on its digital form. So ang PSA po ang nangangalaga pa din ng physical, pero in terms of the digital pati integration, nasa DICT na po. So kung gusto niyo pong magkaroon ng link sa national ID, you can collaborate with DICT. By the way, if you use the eGov app, nandyan na po yung national ID ninyo. Ilan dito ang merong ng card? Konti lang. Yung may papel, yung binigyan ng papel. Aba, meron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Papel. Binulsa mo yun, wala na, nalukot na, di ba? Okay. Sino dito yung nag-apply, pero hanggang ngayon wala pa din yung card, wala pa din yung papel? Ang dami. Kakahiya naman. But don't wait for the card or paper anymore. Download eGov.ph. You can now find your national ID there. Same as powerful as the card, but using your phone. Okay? The good news is, try to lie about your information if you register. Para masubukan ninyo kung marunong yung system. Maybe try to enter wrong information, or maybe try to enter your correct information, maybe ask someone to register in behalf of you. The system should know na hindi ikaw yon. Because the AI implementation, nandyan na siya. Nailagay na ho natin doon. Linking to the national ID. Ayan. Ayan. So, in fact, gamit ng card, nakakonect na yan sa ating eGov system, yung card. Papel, pwede rin. O kaya yung app mo, meron din, yung QR code mo. O kaya naman, mag-generate ka ng iyong digital ID. Halimbawa, wala kang internet, magagamit mo pa din kahit wala kang internet. Mag-generate ka lang ng digital ID. Or kung talagang wala kang cellphone, wala ka na rin internet, talagang low-tech ka talaga, ang tawag sa technology na yun ay just bring yourself. So ako, mag-open ako ng account sa bangko later on, gamit ng eGov system. Sasabihin ko lang doon, ako po si David Almerol, ito po yung birthday ko. Magpi-fingerprint lang ako or magpi-face recognition ako, makapag-open na po ako ng bank account. Ang tawag dyan is just show yourself technology. Ginawa ho natin po ito para po sa ating DSWD. Kasi hindi na kinakailangan mag-distribute pa ng card. Basta ikaw ay entitled na makareceive ng social amelioration, you don't need to bring anything with you. Hindi man po pwedeng mahirap na ngayong tao, i-require mo pang mag-download ng app. Wala ngang cellphone yun eh. Walang pambili ng internet load, di ba? So that's why we launched also the Just Show Yourself technology. Live na po yan. If you want, visit e.gov.ph. Available po doon yung verification. Pwede niyo pong gamitin yon. Okay? Kaya pag may nag-a-apply sa inyo, pwede niyo pong i-check yung system at malalaman niyo kung nagsisinungaling siya o hindi gamit po ng ating national ID. Ayan. So that's why when we launched the eGov Digital National ID, wala pong pinagkaiba ito. PhilSys ID po yan. Okay? Wala pong pinagkaiba yan sa card. Okay? So we are now launching a massive implementation by January na i-link na po yung eGov API all throughout government agency para pagpunta mo sa LTO, driver's license, or maybe LGUs, papakita mo lang yung QR code mo or ID mo or you just show yourself. Pag pinasok sa system yon, pwede ka mag-face recognition or mag-fingerprint at pag na-detect na ikaw ngayon, pwede ka nang i-process or ibigay yung anumang requirement or document na hinihiling mo. So this is a total ease of doing business that we've worked for the past 12 months. This will also fully automate later on yung job creation, yung health sector. In fact, if you open the eGov app now, you can now see your vaccination certificate automatically. You can now see also the nearest hospital nearby. In fact, if you use the eGov app, you can apply for a job. You can create your resume in preparation for the job matching system ng DOLE at PRC and CHED. If you use also the eGov app, i-click mo yung report, pwede ka na magreklamo doon. I-click mo yung yung national government, pwede ka na mag-apply ng driver's license mo, passport mo, certificate mo. If you click mo yung local government, at taga Quezon City ka, magugulat ka, bubulaga agad-agad yung system ni Quezon City doon automatically. O di ba? This is the beauty of a solid foundation para pang long term yung mga innovation natin. Okay, so okay. Literal yata po na 1,700 slides yung pinipare sa akin. Okay, yan. In fact, if you use the eGov app, sa government employee, click mo yung GSIS. Magugulat ka, makikita mo yung premium mo, makikita mo yung pension mo, makikita mo yung loan mo, yung contribution mo using the eGov app. Okay? If you click also PhilHealth, makikita mo na rin yung yung contributions mo, pati yung premium mo, saka meron na rin siyang konsulta powered by PhilHealth. And by the way, bakit kaya na nakikita mo yung data mo doon? Hindi po kami ang nagmamanage ng data ng PhilHealth. Hindi rin kami nagmamanage ng data ng GSIS. Kanya-kanya po kami. Ang maganda doon, using the integration, using the eGov platform, kaya nag-uusap-usap yung system. at hindi na nag-enter ng information again and again and again. Ayan, naunahan ko yung e-health. If you click yung health, makikita mo yung nearest hospitals in preparation for the universal healthcare, and you can also see your vaccination certificate. We are in talk also to DOH para hindi lang back cert later on, pati yung mga nakalipas ng mga vaccinations na iba-iba, maybe polio vaccine or and so on and so forth in the future in a single platform. Okay. Yan, open na po ang eKYC. If you have time, visit ekyc.gov.ph. Meron pong API yon para pwede kayong mag-link po sa eKYC system, linking to the national ID. Ayan. In partnership with NPC, National Privacy Commission. We recently launched also the Startup Empowerment. Actually, we partnered with Kaya founders and other founders here. Kasi we have a lot of brilliant minds in the Philippines. Ang gagaling na magagaling, maraming magagaling tayong mga founders, no? Pero I think nakakalimutan natin sila. I think about time, that's why DOST, DTI, and DICT merged together para i-launch po yung tinatawag po na startup empowerment. If you use the eGov app, pwede mo nang i-introduce yung startup mo. At kapag maayos yung startup mo, nagbibigay ng grants po ang DTI sa DOST. Kami lang po yung system. Sila yung may pera, kami yung wala. Anyway, so that's the startup empowerment. We partnered with DTI to promote local products. Andyan na po sa Super App para siyang mini Lazada or mini Shopee. Pero ang purpose ng system na ito ay promote ang local products para hindi po puro foreign products na lang ang binibili natin. Para hindi lumalabas ang pera natin. The money should stay in the Philippines. Hindi lang puro palabas kasi foreign products ang binibili natin. Ayan, that's the Philippine e-commerce platform. We also partnered with, in fact, we partnered PESA. We also partnered with BOI. We launched the Philippine Green Lane System. Ibig sabihin, yung mga investor, mabilis na pong mag-invest sa Pilipinas. Ang problema in the past, kaya lumilipat sila sa Indonesia or ibang bansa kasi para ang hirap daw mag-open ng negosyo dito sa Pilipinas. Napakahirap ng proseso. But using the Green Lane System, dapat relax na lang yung investor. Gobyerno na ang gagawa for him sa mga kakailanganin niya para makatayo siya ng negosyo niya dito sa Pilipinas. This is a shortcut for them. In partnership with BOI and DTI. E-visa para sa mga Chinese and Indian nationals para hindi na po tayo kokonti kasi po yung ating mga turista. Alam mo pong dahilan? Kasi limitado ang kayang i-process ng mga consular offices natin. Imagine mo, mamamasyal ka lang sa Pilipinas, bibiyahe ka sa Shanghai, sa sa Xiamen, dala-dala mo yung document mo, ang haba-haba ng pila doon para lang bubisita sa Pilipinas. This time around, they can now do it in the comfort of their home. In partnership also with DOJ, in partnership with Immigration, in partnership with DFA, and also the Department of Tourism to bring more tourists in the Philippines. Okay, tama na siguro to. Okay, so if you have time, marami pang slides po to, but I'll stop here. So please explore the eGov app. This is one of the project po ng DICT. One of the project na connected po sa e-government platform. So maraming salamat po at magandang araw po sa ating lahat.
Okay, let's keep that slide up there for those of you who want to take a picture of the QR code and download that one. Yusek David, thank you very much. You've been very busy. David, how long have you been in office? A year, less than 2 years, a year and a half, right? Year and a half. Okay, so you've been busy for a year and a half. All these products are virtually new.
3 months pala.
Yeah, 1 year and 3 months. So yeah, all these products are new. So thank you very much. And I think everyone can see that all the technology applies not only to national government but to LGUs. And so I encourage everyone to download and try it. I've downloaded it. I just haven't tried a transaction. But maybe I should try Quezon City as my next transaction. So our next speaker is going to be from Quezon City, the city administrator of QC, Mike Alimurong. I guess, like David, he is came from the private sector, from the tech side of things, moved into and moved into local government, the post. He is the principal advisor to the city mayor. He developing city plans and strategies and overseeing city operations. He is the chief architect of the city's e-governance initiatives and spearheaded the expansion of social services, including the city's unified Q Citizen ID. He's a strategy and management consulting expert with extensive experience in both public and private sectors, including at CNN Philippines, Social Security System, Wellspring Consulting, Office of the President, Citibank, and Procter and Gamble. He has been, Quezon City has been mentioned several times by Yusek David. And I must say, Quezon City has also won the City Municipality Competitiveness Index Top City Awards several times. I think it's been kicked up to the Hall of Fame already because it keeps on winning every year. That's how effective this city is. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome City Administrator Mike Alimurong to talk about Quezon City's experience on their journey to become an intelligent city. Mike, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Bill. So good afternoon, everybody. I think most of my presentation has already been given by Yusek David. No? And it's in all reality, it's nice to see that the national government has a clear vision of where everything is going. This is I'll be honest, is the first time I've seen Yusek David's presentation. And in all honesty, I would say I'm really pleasantly surprised and really grateful that in fact it is presented the way it was and that the national government is moving the way it is. No? So when I say that he's presented a lot of what I actually had, you will see it when I will just gloss over it where it is. It's one thing to talk about it from a vision perspective, and I think a lot of that, Yusek David has a strong vision of what he wanted to do. And what I'm about to do here then is to say, hey, look, it actually happens. Is to give you an actual use case. In this case, Quezon City's experience of something, of transforming a city. So let me run through the slides now. So the Quezon City, just the challenge that we faced when we started, and this is 4.5 years ago, Mayor Joy, is really how do you provide better services to citizens given all of this? Clearly, we're the largest city in terms of population, one of the largest in terms of size. It's a lot of districts, a lot of barangays. It's how do you manage all of that? And this is really the challenge, no? And of course, the salary grades in local government are much lower than the national government. So you have to add that as another factor, no? And so the first question, and this one they probably all talk about, right? Oh, let's talk about smart city. And the question really is, why even build it? And so when you build smart city, you really are talking about the following things, right? You want to make data-driven decisions. You want to provide more effective and efficient services. You want to better allocate your resources. You basically want to improve the quality of life. You don't do smart city for the sake of doing smart city, right? And you'll hear a lot of people talk about this, no? What did we actually do? And this is QC's implementation. When you talk about a lot of this is probably what you see. You'll see that the diagram seems similar. All right, so that's why it was pleasantly surprising. When you talk about smart city, just like Phil's ID, Quezon City actually started with smart identity. In our case, it's the Q Citizen ID. We didn't invent the model. For everybody who talks in tech speak or all of these, the model for all this, usually they'll tell you, look at Estonia. Okay? Estonia is far regarded as probably the most digital savvy of any government nation. And a lot of it is sourced on a Estonia ID. So we didn't reinvent that. We said, okay, whatever Estonia is doing, we'll do. So we have the smart identity management. In our case, is the Quezon City Q Citizen ID. You also need smart infrastructure. So when we started 4.5 years ago, we had so many people come in and they say, oh, we'll have AI this and AI that. Sabi ko, time out. AI on what? First, I need the data. We can do all of this with your data. Yes, you're right. I need the data. How do we do data? Wait, I don't even have the infrastructure. So smart infrastructure is needed, and you can see there's a lot of things that goes in. Then, of course, a lot of what you saw in the presentation of Yusek David really is smart systems. And you could see whether it's e-health, e-gov app, and all this. They're all smart systems. You need smart policies. So passing the ordinances and the executive orders, in this case, the laws, are all policies. And like it or not, it sounds funny, but you do need smart people. Okay, and that means both internally and educating the citizen. All right, so we actually looked at these things, no? And why do you do that? You do this because you want to have better e-governance, right? And for that, and this is just basically governance with the E in front of it that says governance enabled by your digitalization. That's all it means, right? So you're looking for things that are accountable, transparent, responsive, efficient, effective, empowered, information accessibility, exclusivity. So it's e-governance. Okay, so this is QC's experience. 4.5 years ago, we actually had nothing. So for those wondering where Quezon City was 4.5 years ago before Mayor Joy Belmonte, the reality is there was nothing. Okay, so when somebody says, is it even possible? It's possible if you put the right things in place. Today, this is where we are today. So let me start with the smart identity. So like Phil's ID, we have QC ID. When somebody asks me the difference between the two, I usually joke that ours works. Okay, it's nice to know that Phil's works now. Okay, it didn't used to, now it does. So that's good. Now I have to change the joke. Okay, what I also tell them is the Phil's ID tells you you're a Filipino or you're in the country. The QC ID tells me you're in Quezon City. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you have one, you don't need the other. It depends what you're trying to do, as long as you are clear what you're trying to do. So Q Citizen ID launched in January 2021. It's a single ID. It's both the senior citizen card, it is the PWD card, it is the solo parent card, it is your resident card. What does that mean? Just like your SSS, it's the same number from birth to death, right? Just because you become a senior doesn't mean your number changed. Your status changed. Your number is the same. Okay? We identify you the same way. So I do not have now a senior citizen na wala yung card, 4 na yung numbers niya. Because that was our old system. Same guy, 4 numbers. Sabi ko, teka lang. You mean when you issue na wala, nagpalit kayo, same different number. But it's the same person. Correct. So no more. It's the same. Okay? So that's the Q Citizen ID. It's at the heart of all our services. Okay? And this is the Estonia model. It's a way of identifying smart identity. Today, we are at over 1 million Q Citizen IDs. And we don't even focus on those below 15 yet. Why? The model in Quezon City is based on need. If you don't need it, don't get it. If you don't see a need for it, we're not going to force you. Don't get it. Saves me money. Okay? If you actually need it, by all means, get it. So in a population of 3 million, 1 million already have it. It's not bad. 1 million people found a use for it. The others, they'll get there if they find the use. It's our job to make sure there's a use. Okay? Of course, this one is what a lot of people show, smart systems. And smart systems are both those that you can see externally and those that you can do internally, things that you don't even see. So let me show you the smart systems now. What happened really in the smart systems? A lot of these were already, some of these were mentioned earlier, which is great. The services basically in Quezon City, let me highlight a few key points. No, that's why I said some of this has already been said. In Quezon City, we use a single sign-on, right? Means everything is on the same platform. So when you add a new service, you simply add it. In the past, it always became like this: bagong service, bagong username and password. Now it's one, right? So Glad eGov app, same one platform, single sign-on. We are already cloud-based. So all the services in Quezon City are cloud-based because you need cloud for them to talk. I think they saw the eGov cloud platform that they're trying to do. It's the same concept. For you to talk, you need to be cloud-based. So single sign-on, single platform, all cloud-based. It's all API-based. What that means for those who don't understand the API, simple model is think of a black box. As long as we can talk to each other, I don't care how everything else looks inside. As long as you know what it's giving out and you know what the other system is requiring, you can talk. Who built it? Irrelevant. Okay, you can change the software. As long as what's being spit out can be accepted by the other side, you're good. API based. Why? In Quezon City, we recognize I cannot rely on one provider to make all my software. Right? In order to move fast, you need a lot of software, a lot of different providers. So you agree, API based, you guys can all build. Let's all make sure they talk. Okay, so users are empowered. It conforms and complies with all data privacy laws, etc., etc. Okay. Today, so before, this is what happened. And I think this has been talked about a lot of places. What are you really trying to do? So your pen and paper applications in Quezon City are now online. It doesn't mean you can't show up in person. You can. But the person helping you is using the same online system, so that it's encoded in the same system. There's a misconception. People think online means I cannot go to City Hall. Of course you can. You don't have to, but you can. But when you go, the guy is using the same system. All right? It's virtual. There are no more long lines. So ARTA once came to try to check business permit lines and randomly interview people, and they went home. They couldn't interview anybody because there was nobody. They were all doing it online. Right? So true story, ARTA shows up. They couldn't interview anyone. It's asynchronous. You can do it at any time you want. It's efficient, transparent. It reduces the number of fixers and corruption. Not to say that there's none, but it reduces it. It increases ownership and accountability, and they're integrated. Okay. Today, this is what you have. So like sabi ko, nakita na yung diagram kanina, you change national government, you put Quezon City, and that's what you have. Okay. So in Quezon City, we actually, imagine every circle in the national government version was GSIS, PhilHealth, etc. Now you have every department in Quezon City looks like that. So if you look at our services, there's at least 23 different services that are online today, each of which have a lot of sub-services underneath. And they encompass everything from social, most people start with revenue, business permit, real property tax, business tax payment. In Quezon, I show you this because it also includes regulatory, things like zoning administration, markets, one-stop shop, things like social services, applying for a scholarship, applying for financial assistance, empowerment. So the equivalent of the one earlier was our People's Corner. Yes, you can tell if somebody is corrupt, some service is slow. You can all be done today. It's enabled. Startup QC program, you can apply online. We give grants already. So we're trying to be ahead of the USD. We do this. We're already on cohort 2. But this is what it has now. It's a series of smart systems integrated to QC ID. So I'll just touch on a few of them. So even in QC, we also try to dream big. So let me touch on at least a couple. No? One is the health information system. In Quezon City right now, through with smart identity, you actually have your medical record available in any of the 91 health centers and clinics. You can go to anyone and your record can get pulled up. Okay? Rather than what used to happen wherein person A goes to health center A, then they go to health center B at different time and they have no idea what the other guy said. Okay? We told them, wait, pareho naman tayong government, QC pareho, di ba? QC City Health yan, City Health din yan eh. So you should be able to see the record there. You can. And if you link it to your QC ID, you can look in the Q Citizen app and you can look at your own medical record. So you can actually, you don't have to remember what was prescribed to you anymore. That's already available today. The market one-stop shop, there are 8 public markets in Quezon City. Each of them, it looks like a movie theater. You can go online, pick your stall, check if the stall is occupied or not. If it's not occupied, reserve that stall, pay that stall, you'll get all the notices online, everything. Okay? We can use it for everything from a barangay says, we'll have a 2-week night market. Sure, give us the map, we'll upload the system and use the whole functionality and you can do it. Right? Reserve a stall. It looks like a movie theater where you pick. Okay? That's how it looks. The business one-stop shop, we are at 3 minutes. I think gumagawa ng 10 kasi pag nag-integrate from national, may binabato sa nagiging 10. Pero nasa 3 minutes na ata yan eh. So you don't anymore. And if you pay your business tax, you no longer need to show your receipt to business. It will simply check whether it's been paid. So when you click renew, it will renew if it's paid. A lot of people think business tax and business permit are the same thing. They're not. Okay, you can pay your business tax without renewing. All right. So it's like business tax is like BAR. Whether you renew or not, you pay on this date. So that's what it looks like. Scholarship applications, again, you can do this online. Walang palakasan yan. We do not ask you information we should already know. So I won't go to the rest, but well, the other one I want to say is ZAO. If the ZAO software, you can go online now, apply for a business or building permit, and you will see the zone map and right away can tell you whether or not you are permissible or not permissible in the location you selected. So you can actually see that today, no? So these are the systems that are there. There's a lot more coming. Just like the national government, we just keep going on what else we need to do. There are some internal systems. I just want to mention some. This is not the full set, just so that people have people understand when you mean a lot of digitalization, transfer roadmap. A lot of people see only one side. There's a lot of stuff you don't see. For example, Quezon City is probably the first LGU, maybe even national, to launch an asset management software. So this one uses IBM Maximo Complete. This is no longer Excel Access, etc. All the assets will be on the software. We have our command center as well. The unified GIS, I'll show you a little bit of that. You really don't see this outside. It's for internal decision making. Helpline 122, we're using a ticketing system for the call center. Again, you don't see it outside. It's all internal. Learning and development, we do this for all the employees in Quezon City now. It's a single HR platform where you sign up for your trainings, etc. We track it all, no? And we're tracking also the performance results. You know, their SPMS is being integrated into it. So you'll see a lot of these internal, they're there, no? So never mind, digital backbone, too complicated. GIS is an example. 22 offices in Quezon City use the GIS system. All right, so some examples would be as follows, no? City assessor, very clear. You use this for all the parcels, all the land, etc. It's all completely GIS. Just like in national or in others, we're missing a lot of buildings. Ano, dami naman nagtatayo ng building, di namin alam. But we start mapping them, no? We're trying to figure out where they all are. So building footprints, emergency response, it's there. You use GIS for flood mapping and all of this, no? Parks development, yeah, so parks, I don't know why, but they're doing this. They're crazy enough to map trees. Okay, they wanted to make sure the tree coverage in Quezon Memorial Circle was good. So they actually mapped all the trees. So if you're going to map the trees, you better make sure it's up to date, right? So they're doing that, no? Business permits, they're mapping all the businesses. So it's 22 different offices mapping. I just give you an example. Yes, that's how it looks. So in QC, you'll actually see something like this. Now, if you wanted to test it, there's actually a external view, no? If you log into QC services, which is our single platform, there's actually a real property viewer there. And what is that app for? That app was to empower citizens who wanted to buy property or sell property to check if the property first paid its tax, what the declared size is, when was the tax last paid, what the expected assessment and tax amount is. Right? Data privacy hid the name of the owner and all of that. But before you even decide to buy, you can just click on it and check, has this been paid? All right, so it's there. Hopefully it works properly. No, I'm sure it works properly. But you can check. So this is the one GIS that's already available to the public. And then smart infrastructure. So this one we're working on. The city government is working on its fiber optic network. It's been bidded out. It's actually being installed now. It's intended to connect all the CCTVs via fiber, but also to provide free Wi-Fi throughout the city. So there's a fiber line that's already ongoing projects, about 200 kilometers worth initially as initial setup. No, we set up with help of Globe, but they want to now cancel. But anyway, we'll figure out. 4,000 access points wherein you can get the Wi-Fi 1 hour a day for free. Logging in QCE services. We're at 1,300 CCTVs. We're trying to get to 10,000. It's all IP based. Therefore, you can see it on a command center or, in my case, on my laptop. Smart street lighting, there's about 1,000 that are enabled. It's not yet there. We're getting there. Smart sensors, particularly for air quality, is there. You also have, so this is some of the stuff on the smart infrastructure. So 200 kilometers, et cetera. We also, smart infrastructure, of course, means all the devices that you need. So during the pandemic, we actually gave out 300,000 plus tablets to students. Because it's one thing to tell everybody go online, and it's another thing to say, yeah, I go online, but I don't have a device. So we actually gave that out to people and then put all the Wi-Fi connection. Now, it's not perfect. We still need Globe Smart Converge there to speed up the line. But that's there, no? And then there is, of course, smart policies. And I think some of these were mentioned earlier. You need smart policies. And some of these examples in Quezon City look like this, right? Quezon City Q-Citizen ID Ordinance, which mandates the ID to be accepted. It's one thing to say it's digital. Just like PhilSys ID, you can download the Q-Citizen app and you have a digital version of the Q-Citizen ID. You don't need the physical card, it's a digital version. The problem there is without the policy, the restaurant will say, I don't recognize it. What we do is we say, yeah, your business permit, here's an ordinance, you're mandated to recognize it. All right, so you need the smart policy attached to it. It's one thing to make it work. It's another thing to say, actually, it's mandated. Scholarship ordinance requires you to have a QC ID to do it. CART EODB, that's an EO that was issued regarding the anti-red tape and ease of doing business. You actually need to put that. We put up Quezon City Strategic HR Unit. That's why all of our learning and development plan is all online now. Because that's part of the work that they did. No? So you need, and these are sample policies, a lot of policies that can be done. But it's one thing to simply say, we make the systems, we actually need the policies to mandate certain things, to compel compliance in some cases. No? So that's smart policies. Of course, smart people, there's no other slide supporting that, it's just what you need. No? You either do that capacity building, this is the challenge that I've had conversations with people. National government salary grades much higher. Even with that, I think it was mentioned earlier, it's very hard to get the IT expert in. Imagine now you go to local government, highest salary grade is 27. Oh gosh, how do you even get this in? So a lot of the local governments are struggling because they may know what the roadmap looks like. Can they actually hire the people in to do it? Right? So we're both lucky because Yusek, David, and myself are both CS majors. So there is some background to work with, right? Many others, unfortunately, are not in the same situation. And you end up with a struggle because you do need smart people. So you have to do capacity building. And then, of course, you do empowerment of the citizen. We were lucky in this case, that when you have COVID pandemic, everybody has to just do it, right? It's like all the buyers, hindi kami marunong mag-online. No choice kayo eh. No choice tayo lahat. Walang face-to-face. So in one way, if there's a blessing in disguise to COVID, it's that everybody was forced to go digital and to build their capacity. So smart people, this is all quick again, just a reminder why we do it. I just wanted to highlight the item below. In Quezon City, one of the guidances that we use is do not ask for anything we should already know. Tama yung sinabi kanina, if one department or agency already asked for the information, dapat nag-uusap na lang yan. I don't need to ask your name 10 million times, right? You gave it to me already. So in QC, for example, when you renew your scholarship, if it's a renewal, that means you're already approved the prior scholar. I don't need your name, your parents' name. I just need your grades. And did you enroll for the next term? That's all I need. Everything else should be the same, right? So that's what's happening here, no? These are just dashboards. Everybody likes dashboards. So QC hospital dashboard, just HR dashboard. Results, again, these are quick, these are the last couple of slides. 23 online systems, about 14 of the systems accept e-payment. So I guess all of those that need e-payment, including the OVR system, you can just pay everything online. That's OVR's the violation receipts. Again, no more queues, it's all asynchronous. Wala nang palakasan for many of the systems, like scholarship, pangkubahayan, you don't need to know anybody, just go online, apply. Automated business permit delivery, for example, it's straight to your door. Patient records available, we talked about. So these are other samples. In our case, in the learning and development platform, 15,000 employees are all into the same system. Okay, before it used to be like this, one department gives a training, the other people don't know there's a training. Now it's all central. We're about to launch this, the QC library. What the QC is launching is it's now the digital library. You can log in, reserve any material that the library has, tell me which branch you will pick it up in, and you can return it anywhere. And if it's not yet available, you can reserve it. It will put you on queue, and you'll get an email or a message when it's available, right? And when you tell us you're picking up in a certain location, it will tell you when it's already arrived there. So that's the system now. Why? It's impossible to build a 3,000-4,000 square meter library, but we can definitely build a digital library, right? In which case you borrow anywhere and return anywhere, at least in any of our branches. 100%, or but they put 99%, they're nice. All business owners process their permits online already. Okay, yung nag-aayos na lang ang hindi. So, but it's almost there, no? Never mind those challenges. The challenges, of course, this is not without challenge. We wanted to create a challenges slide because I think this is one of the things. You know, the reality is these things happen, right? You need people who are technically capable. And this is one of the hardest challenges. And if that means you work with private sector, work with them. And they asked us how we did it in QC. I told them, in reality, I hired a bunch of people. We contracted out to a bunch of companies. Why? I can't hire, they're too expensive. But you hire them, make a project, and then fire them after? You can't. Outsource it, right? You're not gonna be smarter than them, 100% sure. So we had to build a lot of capability, both internal, external. Budget, in Quezon City, a lot of people say it's the wealthiest city, not on a per capita basis. On a per capita basis, that's Makati. Per capita basis, Makati is probably 40,000, we're at 10. Right? So you can imagine what that looks like. You need to find the right partners. And this is true, right? You find the right partners. The actual process that you'll implement, it sounds simple to implement. The reality is most systems are not built for the exception. And the reality is exceptions abound, right? What do you do when you say, oh, bawal ang business if nasa wrong zone? Whoops, 200,000 informal sector families in Quezon City, malamang lahat nag-build yan. What? No business permit, everybody? Just because it's in the wrong zone, time out. Your system is not built for exception in many cases. So that's why it takes long to implement. You need to adjust for the exception. There's always scope creep. You realize as you go through it, the scope is a lot larger than you thought. And your private sector partner is now losing money. Kasi, ang laki pala. Okay? And there's always a challenge between, and this one is a true thing. You're always challenged between whether you will do service as your priority or revenue. When you work with the private sector, obviously they are not in there to lose money. And so that's the challenge that you're asking yourselves. In our case, Quezon City said service. It's paid through taxpayers' money. Provide the service, make sure the private entity doesn't lose money. Because if they do, then we are done with private sector. They will never partner with you again, and everything else stops. Right? The idea is provide the better service. It's paid through taxpayer money. Make it reasonably priced. Right? So service versus revenue, always a challenge. In QC, we probably have the lowest convenience fees of everything because service went first. Okay? If you try the payment in QC, the service fees, convenience fees are the lowest across anywhere you'll find. Because it's service first, all right? And the private sector entity that helped us do it, sorry na lang, TY, thank you very much. They're nice guys. Last two things on that, this is the most important, is it doesn't matter what you put. Leadership matters. That's why when they said Mayor Benji is here, kudos. Leadership matters. If the leader is not telling you to do it the right way, it doesn't matter how good your team is. Okay? The leader has to say, hey, implement the good governance system. Why? It doesn't matter what system you have. It's people dependent. All of these systems I have master control over any one of them. If I was deciding to be a screwball tomorrow, I could log in and approve them all. Right? It's the same thing with Phil's ID. The person with approval access at the end can create a fake identity today. Right? They'll approve it. Right? So leadership matters, and it's people dependent. And if you're doing that, please get people with integrity, right? It doesn't matter. The smart people, the smartest people are also, some of them are corrupt, right? More important, the high integrity person, right? Because you put the right system and process in place, even an idiot should be able to follow it, right? So that's the most important. And where is it next for QC? I think this is the, wow, they don't want me to go anymore. Okay, they don't want, it's done. So what's next? And I think in the what's next for QC, I think the only thing I have here is really this, is that really bottom line, it's more of everything else. Everything that can be put online, we will put online. If that's the most the bottom line. With that, again, thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, City Administrator Mike. As usual, such a practical, on-the-ground view of things and how they really work at the level. So thank you for that, and also thank you for the candid remarks and the honesty behind the remarks. So let me move on to our last speaker. This will be Janice Rakpan. She's the head of the government sector at Globe Telecom. And she brings a decade of transformative expertise from her tenure within Globe. She propelled Globe at Home's marketing team to success, led pivotal initiatives in digital solutions group like Go Wi-Fi, Amber, Load Up, Managed Wi-Fi, and other products. Played a key role in corporate strategy and business development, focusing on merger and acquisitions, innovation, big data, and successfully piloted projects like the country's first working bus management and scheduling system through BGC Bus. Today, we've invited Janice to speak and share her insights about the significance in revolutionizing connectivity for intelligent cities in the Philippines. Let's please give a warm welcome to Janice Rakpan. Janice, the floor is yours.
Okay. To our esteemed Chairman Bill Luz, distinguished speakers, Mayor Magalong, Yusek David, NCA Mike Alingurong, and guests, good afternoon. Imagine a city where every street light is not just a source of illumination, but a beacon of connectivity, where every building isn't just bricks and mortar, but a hub of intelligent communication. That is the journey that we at Globe Telecom have embarked on, a story into the heart of intelligent cities, written in the language of connectivity. Thank you for being here today. It's truly an honor to stand before you and explore a topic that is not just a part of our present, but also a key driver of our future, the role of connectivity in intelligent cities. In the tapestry of urban development, connectivity stands as the thread weaving together the fabric of intelligent cities. Today, we'll delve into the crucial role that connectivity plays and how Globe Telecom is at the forefront of shaping this narrative. Connectivity must not be a privilege. It is a right for all. Globe Telecom is committed to bridging the digital divide, ensuring that the benefits of the digital age are accessible to everyone. Our initiatives are not just about connecting devices, they are about connecting families, enabling businesses, and empowering the nation. A vibrant and prosperous nation is built upon the foundation of healthy and educated human capital, just like what CA Mike said and Mayor Magalong said earlier. Today, I want to emphasize the importance of investing in our people, our constituents, who are also our customers. We are here to serve you, and we are committed to putting each and every one of you first. This is precisely why we at Globe maintain an unwavering focus on people. We believe in following their journey, understanding the unique needs, and addressing them through technology. And speaking of connectivity, let's turn our attention to the advancements in telecommunications infrastructure. The landscape is dynamic, with technology evolving at an unprecedented pace. Globe Telecom is not just keeping up, it's leading the charge. From expanding the network coverage to enhancing capacity and deploying advanced solutions, we are paving the way for a connected and sustainable future. This journey into innovation started over a decade ago with a steadfast commitment to placing our customers' needs at the core of our operations. We persistently harness the power of telecommunications to cultivate and extend the entire Globe Group ecosystem. We acknowledge that to facilitate a digital lifestyle, a superior network infrastructure must be in place, capable of supporting the full spectrum of digital solutions that enhance the quality of life for every Filipino. As we stand at the crossroads of the present and the future, let me share a glimpse into what we envision. Globe Telecom sees a future where connectivity is not just a service, it's a force for positive change. Our vision extends beyond technology. It's about building intelligent cities that thrive, evolve, and elevate the human experience. In our pursuit of excellence, we understand the importance of staying at the forefront of technological advancements while remaining deeply rooted in our commitment to the welfare of our fellow Filipinos. We recognize the need to continuously adapt to the latest technologies and adhere to international standards, all the while embracing values like malasakit that resonate with the hearts of our people. However, our vision goes beyond merely improving customer experience through enhanced cell sites and infrastructure. We firmly believe that our role transcends that of a traditional telecommunications company. Today, Globe is on a transformative journey, evolving from a telecommunications giant to a multifaceted organization that extends its focus to digital solutions designed to offer unparalleled convenience, robust data security, and most importantly, a positive and lasting social impact. At the core of this evolution is our unwavering commitment to leveraging the inherent strength of telecommunications to build and expand the entire Globe ecosystem. This approach allows us to proactively address the evolving needs of our times. By harnessing the power of technology and innovation, we aim to power every Filipino, creating a brighter, more connected future for our nation. As we embark on this exciting journey, we invite you to join us in shaping a world where technology not only bridges the gaps, but also uplifts the lives of our fellow citizens. Together, we will continue to create value beyond telco, enriching the lives of Filipinos and fostering a more inclusive and prosperous society for all. In closing, connectivity is more than cables and signals. It's the conduit for progress. And I want to express my gratitude to each of you for your time today. And as I share my closing video, before we open the floor for questions and further discussion, let's continue this conversation about the transformative power of connectivity and the boundless possibilities it holds for our intelligent cities.
The Philippines has taken a seat as a table in the market with opportunities. Our nation could not be more ripe for hypergrowth. A lot of what the Philippines has to offer is often overlooked and remains intact. These include innovations and capabilities in fintech, health tech, edutech, and more. The potential of the Philippines is overflowing with life-enhancing ideas that can be pursued on a large scale. As one of the largest English-speaking nations in Southeast Asia, we can be your partner to tap a wealth of opportunities around the world. We are your friends, your neighbors, your co-workers, the people that can lead you into the future of wonderful possibilities. A champion of Filipino innovation, rooted in solving everyday problems with compassion you can feel, care you can rely on, using technology you can trust. A digital solutions company leveraging our assets and expertise in uplifting the life of every Filipino. We are local at heart, but we think global. We have a story to tell, sharing our voice to create a globe of good. Investing in the Filipino because we see a Philippines where families' dreams come true, businesses flourish, and the nation is admired. We are the Globe Group. Filipino now, global tomorrow.
I don't have 1,000 slides, but what we're committing is that we are here for your very reliable connectivity. CA Mike, Mayor Magalong, and to USEC David. Maraming salamat po. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Janice. And I like how you put it, that connectivity is more than just a collection of cables. At this stage, may I invite Mayor Benji to join up front with City Administrator Mike Alimurong and David Almirol. Is David USEC David? Okay, just stepped out a minute. Okay, that's all right. We can get started. Mike, why don't you? Oh, here's David. David, hi. If you could we invite you to join us here in the in front? And unfortunately, Attorney Gisela had to leave earlier for another meeting, but at least we were able to listen to her presentation. There's a number of questions, and of course, we'd also like to invite people in the audience who may want to ask questions from either Mayor Benji or City Administrator Mike or USEC David Almirol. So let me open it up if anybody would like to ask questions. Yes, please, kindly just introduce yourself and who you are addressing the question to.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, lalakasan ko na lang yung oras ko. I am John Marson Isunza Escaro, the founding president of United Diplomats of the Philippines. I'm actually 22 years old, and what my organization does is that we teach Model United Nations. I don't know if people here are familiar with that. We also teach diplomacy, public speaking, and solutions curating, and we funnel them to the youth. So again, we are a national organization of youths, and we have directors and constituents from all regions of the Philippines, from NCR to Region 13. We just opened membership actually last week, and we already have 200 applicants and counting all across the Philippines. We have SK chairmans as members. Some of us have huge followings in social media, Facebook and TikTok. Famous
Would,
aren't. Anyways.
would you like to address your question to anyone?
Yes,
of you?
my question will be addressed to not just the panel, but to everyone, if that's okay. So back then, for context, in the Solutions Makati, I already met with Dr. Donabel Panes from the city government of Baguio, mayor. And we also talked future collaborations with the Global Alliance for Incinerator Alternatives, Gaia. And right now, actually, we're talking with the office of Mayor Jill of QC. We will be scheduling a meeting with the QC Youth Development Office. We just contacted Ms. Ika and helped me a meeting. And possibly we'll be having a partnership with Sir Atawalaga. Anyways, wait lang po ha, ano ko lang po yung bangko ng org namin before I ask the question.
Please go ahead with the question so we can have
Okay.
give time for the others to ask their question.
The question is, nakapalan ko na po yung kako, since now we have a huge following as the youth. We have a proposal po sana, as the youth, as the woke generation, as they call us derogatorily on social media, we have the resources to make what we do right now, yung livable cities, trending and relatable. We have means, we have TikTok reference, we have TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram to gain nationwide and a massive impact. So what I suggest for the panel and what I'm wanting from each person here is that let's make our initiatives relatable, understandable, and let's make the framing of everything that we do not to be intimidating. Because sometimes the way we frame our initiative, it's not universal and tends to intimidate the regular Filipino. So what we need as leaders is to be relatable. Kailangan at lahat dapat ng buong Pilipinas. And my national organization can make that happen. We have talents and we have the influence, the manpower, the energy and the creativity to market each company and organization in here. The youth will be your future consumers.
Sure.
So
All right.
the catch is what we let the difference.
No, thank you, please. I just want to give time for the others to ask questions, if you
Yes,
don't mind.
ayun na po, the question is, if it's possible if we can leverage the youth organization such as the United Diplomats of the Philippines to funnel your initiatives on a nationwide scale po, and make it more creative, more relatable, and understandable to the regular Filipino. So yun lang po.
Thank you, thank you. Would anyone like to take that on, Mayor?
Okay,
Yes.
sige. Sure. Okay. John, ano?
Yes.
Okay, John. You know, what we're doing in the city of Baguio is we're bringing in not only the talents, the skills of the youth into local governance, but also in terms of leadership. That's the reason why we're now making sure that we have about 26 policy-making bodies in the city of Baguio, and we're bringing in 30%. I want 30%. I just gave out an order that 30% of the entire membership of those policy-making bodies should be members of the youth. Second is, you're happy when people, politicians call you future leaders of this country, right? And you like it. Yeah? In fact, you should totally disagree. You should feel insulted. You know why? Because if there's any time that you should be leader, it should be now. And always think about this. No? Age should never be a factor in leadership. You should not be afraid to lead. And that's the challenge that we are now having in the city of Baguio, because 48% of the entire population is made up of indigenous people, wherein only elders only elders have the authority to lead,
Yeah.
and at the same time, only the elders should make the decisions, and that we're challenging now. In fact, in the city of Baguio, there are about 43 tribes, and basically they follow the same cultural tradition that only leaders and only elders have the right to lead and decide. So what we're doing now is we're challenging the status quo, talking to the different tribes, talking to the elders and telling them it's about time that you have to allow the young people to lead and participate in decision making. And I was really surprised when a big tribe like the Ibaloy suddenly came up with this motto during their anniversary celebration. And the motto goes, "Rise up, Ibaloy youth, be courageous." No? So, come up to the city of Baguio, and you'll find out that we just built the first innovation hub in the entire country, and you'll be surprised that 100% are actually coming from the youth sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I saw a couple of questions back here. Yeah, go ahead. And then I'll go to your question here. Go ahead.
Mayor, I'm Al Mayoraldo. I'm a graduate of the school. I came from the multinational sector and as a consultant to government also. I think my question was partially answered because I was really astounded when you said that a city that has been in urban decay since 1990, and now you discover because of your extensive data gathering, that there are 90,000 absentee permits for the building, and yet you strive to become an innovation, resilience, and there's a third thing, hub, by 2025 or 2026, which is about 3 years from now. Yeah. So my question was, what kind of management and leadership strategies will need to be implemented by your group to be able to fight the momentum of the past and really transform? Obviously, a lot of this has to be led by people, manpower, and then the systems come in. So, but I think you partially answered that, but that was my question, in case you wanted to add.
Yeah, good question.
Mayor, go ahead, please.
We're applying situational leadership. So it depends on the need of the times. Sometimes I have to be tough. Like for example, when it comes to waste management, I have to be tough, both solid and liquid waste management. I have to immediately impose the law. There was a time that I even have to go out and pick up trash and throw it back to the restaurants or to the hotels just to send a strong message. But I have also to be, there are times that I have to know how to listen as well. I have to be compassionate. So depende sa anong situation. But you know what? We have so much passion to bring in the young people now. In fact, I'm coming up with statements like, for example, I want 50% of the city council to be composed of young people. Nainggit ako every time I see dumadalaw sa yung city council ng Quezon City sa amin. Just imagine, young people, guwapo na, magaganda pa. And if you look at the city council of the city of Baguio, puro matatanda, isa lang bata, yung SK official, ex-official member. And most of the time, when you talk to young people, you sense courage, you sense energy. They're drivers of social change. They're very outspoken. They believe in change and they want to make a big difference. So ang ginagawa namin ngayon sa siyudad ng Baguio. We want to bring it. In fact, I've also came up with an announcement that if there's a young leader who's going to emerge as a leader by 2025, di na ako tatakbo. And just, basta winnable siya, I'll give it to that young leader. So that's the kind of leader that I am. I am only here to inspire and motivate people.
That's great. Okay. Earthquake. There's an earthquake.
Staying under the table.
Meron pa konti. Rest assured that I did not do. I have nothing to do. I have nothing to do with her.
Didn't trigger that.
Okay. Everybody.
Sir Ali,
wait.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody all right?
You were just oriented a while ago for the earthquake.
Yeah, I know. Well, I hope you heard it. The building they said was
Up to 7.
right? Up to 7.
We're safe.
It's 5.5.
Okay. So we have been asked to evacuate the building. So everybody remember the evacuation routes, the stairs? Okay, we've been asked to evacuate. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, ma'am.
Thank you. Please.
Wow, this is the first time it happened. First time it happened to us.